people people kind of like to claim these days that journalism is ultimately dead, right? But I'm not talking like news journalism. I'm talking more artistic and creative journalism. A lot of articles that are written these days are very much word soup, and very much filled with a lot of stuff that people just quite frankly don't care about. You know what I mean? So I wanted to take some time to really break this down for a lot of the people that, kind of like don't understand why journalism is the way it is now, or kind of like what you can really do about it if you're a writer, especially a, you know, creative writer, right? You write about art, you write about sports and things like that. So with a lot of short form media kind of taking over, things like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, shit, even live streams, right? Like you're watching a live stream right now. So that's kind of where a lot of journalism had a shitty time trying to adapt, right? So people kind of took to video essays. They even took to just kind of text like to speech videos, and there are like so many other like forms of like getting the same information like outside of journalism that are way easier and way more convenient to people. So it's like, how the fuck do you make people care about journalism anymore, right? And the only real way to combat that is like making journalism like worth it. Like, not every single piece needs to be like this, like a billion word breakdown, like from the sunny skies of California and the sidewalks were super cold. I was walking down the street and then I stumbled on, next to this artist, and we sat down near a taco shop, and it's like super descriptive, and it's like, bro, like, no, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like people want to read interviews and just hop right in. People want to read reviews and just hop right in. Like the word soup and kind of like plumping up a lot of these like written pieces is where a lot of people went wrong. You know what I mean? They tried to like go super college with it and go like, I'm going to use my writing degree and all this other shit. And again, like don't get it twisted. Those pieces still matter and there's still a time and place for them, right? Like cuz you have think pieces. You have pieces about certain events in the scene, in the underground, or even in the world, you know what I mean? So there's a time and place for like a lot of those like really important, descriptive, vivid written pieces. And I enjoy them. It's not that I don't. Um but it's hard for other people to enjoy them. You know what I mean? Like not everybody's a reader, but everybody can find some enjoyment in reading if it's like quick. You know what I mean? Like people don't want to like read a bunch of words um in a paragraph only to find out again, like I was saying on Twitter, that X musician is from fucking Michigan. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't have to read 4 or 5 sentences to really find that out. And I think that's a big, big fucking problem in journalism, right? Um, Break shit down, but don't sugarcoat shit. You know what I mean? And save the sugarcoating and the word soup and all that stuff for the pieces that really are major. You know what I mean? Like talking about like, stuff like equal rights in the scene, or like major or like groundbreaking pieces. Like not an artist interview, you know what I mean? Like cuz for one, like nobody's going to like take time to like really appreciate those details, but it just takes too long as well, you know what I mean? Again, it shouldn't be taking you 2 weeks to edit an article because you're trying to think of word soup to like surround an interview. You know what I mean? Like for that article to only get X amount of clicks and blah blah blah. Like half the time, a lot of artists and creatives don't even really appreciate the actual journalism of it. They just appreciate the acknowledgement and the promo. You know what I mean? So like a lot of that stuff you could save for like pieces you as a writer could really just care about. But yeah, man, so I'm on both ends of the spectrum, right? Like I enjoy those really detailed, descriptive, vivid think pieces, but I'm also a writer that breaks it down like relatively quick when it comes to like my interviews and things like that. Um, and again, like you can kind of like write however you want to write. This is kind of like one of those things where there's really like no rules to something like that, but when it comes to like why people don't uh really enjoy journalism or just writing as much anymore is because people just fucking clouded it up. You know what I mean? It just became too much. You know what I mean? Like a 20-minute interview should not be a 20-minute article read. It really shouldn't. It should be a 5-minute article read. You know what I mean? Like, so like wherever writers and journalists kind of lost that path is like where the problem lies, and that's why I've never written that way. You know what I mean? And anything I've ever written has been just like, you know, very consistent in the aspect of like you'll just give a little bit of background before the interview starts. You'll have the bulk interview, and then you'll have your outro, and you're good to go. And like some articles and pieces cause for different, you know, formats and things like that, but not every single time. You know what I mean? Because people again barely read them as it is. So if you can make that like quick and to the point and like very like meaningful, but you know still being as descriptive without needing 5,000 words, you'll be good to go. It's like those people that tried to do that shit in high school where like you had to like write a however many like word essay, and like they would just do a bunch of word soup. You know what I mean? You know, just like overly describe things, and that's what journalism like felt like for like quite a while for like the people that weren't around me anyway, because a lot of like my writers and a lot of the writers that I've been around kind of understand that. You know what I mean? Because of the scene that we're in. You know, like I was saying, like artists like barely appreciate the journalism aspect of it as it is. Just like how supporters don't really appreciate the music aspect of things as it is. They just care whether something's fire or not, or you were spitting bars. You know what I mean? They don't appreciate like how long the writing took, or how long you took in the studio, or how many times you recorded this over and over again. They don't understand the mixing process. You know what I mean? They just know it bangs. Same thing with artists and journalism and creatives. You could write an article about somebody, pour your fucking heart soul into it, and they're just gonna appreciate the fact that you wrote about them. They're not gonna appreciate the fact of like that you use your college fucking degree to fucking write this article. You know what I mean? They It's just not like that. And realistically, it probably never has been. People were just kind of like living in that like weird delusional bubble. You know. So yeah, again, just some tips for any new writers out there, or any kind of like independent underground creative writers that were looking to get into the space, or like fuck, like what's wrong with journalism? Is it dead? No, it's not dead. I come on, look at our homepage. You know what I mean? We have lots of wonderful pieces on there that don't need fucking 3 hours to just sit there and read. You know what I mean? So writing will always be a big part of our space, but when it's accompanied by other pieces of content, it can float better. You know what I mean? Because if you're only putting out written articles, you're dead in the water. But if you have your written articles alongside your other forms of content, you'll be good to go. You know what I mean? You'll be good to go. So, I mean, shit, like even in case you missed it monthly is like a really great product of that, because that's not only an article, but we put all of the mini reviews on graphics. So it's like um you kind of get the best of both worlds there, and you know you don't necessarily even need to go and read an article like that. You know what I mean? So that's why like infographics and things like that like really fucking really like um they just matter. You know what I mean? Like that's like why they like kind of are like a nice happy medium, because you could still do both, but if you have the infographic, you kind of get like the short form media audience of it as well. Um, so yeah, that's my take on um the current journalism landscape and journalism in 2023, if you will. So, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely feel free to drop a like. Definitely drop a comment. Let us know if you agree, if you disagree, why, all that good stuff. And if you're a new writer out there and you're interested in joining Music Mondays, definitely let us know. And if not, I definitely wish you luck on your writing journey. Alrighty, my friends.